So Apple Music put out their greatest albums of all time list, and the list at first was kind of like, man, it's flawed. And then I saw who got snubbed and some of the placements. It's like, okay, this is just insane. Okay, top 10. Beyonce's Lemonade, 10. Nirvana, Nevermind, 9. Amy Winehouse, Back to Black, 8. Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City, 7. Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life, 6. Frank Ocean, Blonde, 5. 4, Prince and the Revolution, Purple Rain, 4. 3, The Beatles, Abbey Road. 2, Michael Jackson, Thriller. And number 1, Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Now, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill deserves to be in the top 10. That's a fantastic album. I love that album. Classic album. But it's not number 1. Michael Jackson should always be number 1. I think as the years go along, I don't think people really understand how influential that album was, how big that album was, music video-wise, production-wise, hits-wise. Like, Michael raised the ante of like, oh no, you can't have just like a couple of hits. You got to have to at least go 6 or 7 songs deep. That's how transformational that album was. So I don't mind Lauryn being in the top 10, maybe top 5. In fact, I'll probably put Lauryn at number 5. I would definitely take out Frank Ocean's Blonde. Now I know if you're of this generation, you love Frank Ocean. Fine. If you want to put Frank Ocean in your top 20, fine. But he does not. Blonde is not a top 10 album of all time. Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? Yeah, I think What's Going On is like 17. Those two should switch places. What's Going On by Marvin Gaye should be at number 5. And in fact, you got Frank Ocean ahead of Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life. There is no world, there is no universe, maybe some alt universe someplace that Frank Ocean is better than Stevie Wonder. But singing wise, he's not better. Production wise, he's not better. Songwriting is not better. Frank Ocean is fine, but he's not better than Stevie Wonder. Kendrick Lamar, I love Kendrick Lamar. Good Kid, Mad City should not be number 7. You know, for some people, To Pimp a Butterfly was Kendrick's better album. But Good Kid, Mad City's got a lot of praise. I totally understand it. But man, like Public Enemy's It Takes a Nation of Millions could be number 7. It was down in the 30s. Nas's Illmatic was in the 30s. It could be number 7. Kanye could have 3 albums that could have been number 7. Graduation, 808 and Heartbreak, and My Twisted Fantasy. Any of those 3 Ye albums could have been number 7. Now I get it, all that controversy with Kanye, I get it, but I am not gonna take away the fact that this dude made 3, really 5 great albums. You know, I'm not gonna let the other stuff cloud. I'm just focusing on the music, and Ye could have been in his top 7. Love Amy Winehouse. If people want to move her out the top 10, that's fine. But she's that Back to Black was an amazing album. Nirvana actually should be higher. Lemonade by Beyonce is fine, but then when you see that Mariah Carey didn't have any albums in their top 100, Whitney Houston didn't have any albums in their top 100. If you just said, I would have swapped out Lemonade and pushed that down a little bit and put in Whitney Houston's The Bodyguard soundtrack. I don't think people understand how big that soundtrack was. I don't think vocally Whitney Houston is better than Beyonce. Lemonade is a fine album. It's a fine concept album, which dealt with Jay-Z's cheating. Fantastic. But man, Led Zeppelin didn't even make this top 10, which is weird. Then you get down to the list, and Taylor Swift's 1989 is number 18. I'm glad they didn't put it in the top 10. Thank you for that. But then you see her, and she's ahead of Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, which is number 20, and Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run. Those 2 albums, 1989 is a great pop album, but it's not better than Pet Sounds and Born to Run. These are influential albums. Miles Davis, I'm glad that Kind of Blues in there. Fine, great. Love that jazz represented. I think Bob Marley is represented with reggae. Exodus is number 40. But man, like The Weeknd, there were no albums by The Weeknd in this top 100. Beauty Behind the Madness and After Hours, at least one of those albums should have been there. TLC didn't make it. Bruno Mars didn't make it. Ed Sheeran didn't make it. The Beatles, Exiles on Main Street was like 53. I don't know what's the process of trying to figure things out. Now, the one good thing about this list is it creates conversation. And I'm sure a lot of people are probably looking at this list even right here and saying like, oh, this song should be higher. This song should be lower. Like, I would have moved up Adele's 21. I probably would have put 21 in the top 10 and moved out Beyonce's Lemonade. I think Destiny's Child, they didn't make the list. Like, there's a lot, like Michael Jackson. Oh yeah, Off the Wall. Off the Wall, Michael only has one album in the top 100, and that's Thriller. And number 2, the Bad album didn't make it, and Off the Wall didn't make it. Yeah, okay, I would do that. I would take out Lemonade, push that down a little bit, and put Off the Wall at number 10. Or if I need to keep Beyonce in the top 10, then I'm taking down Frank Ocean. I'm taking out Frank Ocean entirely, pushing everybody up, and then maybe put Michael Jackson's Off the Wall at number 10. Off the Wall is an amazing album. Some people think Off the Wall is better than Thriller. I think it's a wash. I think Off the Wall and Thriller are two amazing albums. I think Off the Wall is grossly underrated how great that album is. But I'm not going to take anything away from Thriller just because of the influence of it. But yeah, the fact that Off the Wall didn't make it is crazy. I haven't seen the whole list, so I don't know if Prince's 1989. I don't know if 1989 made it. I don't know if Sign of Times make it. I don't probably not. Like, it's almost like, I get what they're trying to do. Like, they can't keep everything old, right? Because, a lot of young people use Apple Music. So I totally understand. So I understand the Frank Ocean and the Lemonade. I understand those things. But even Good Kid, M.A.A.D City. But come on. Are we trying to appeal to young people, or are we trying to say, like, what's the greatest albums of all time? Now, again, every list is subjective. Like, Savannah Guthrie, she was all upset because U2's Joshua Tree wasn't in the top 10. Now, Joshua Tree is an amazing album, and U2 is an amazing group. And I'm kind of surprised that U2 isn't in the top 20. I mean, you can almost close your eyes and spin a wheel, and you can find it, and you could choose a U2 album that could have been in this top 20. So yeah, U2, it's kind of odd that U2's not listed here. It's kind of interesting in, like, Pearl Jam's 10 isn't in the top 20. Like I said, I don't see Led Zeppelin. Rolling Stones are in the top 20. But everybody's list, it's a subjective list. But again, they did their job. It creates controversy. And the good thing is, if you're a fan of, let's say, Bruce Springsteen, and it's 22, it's like, you know what, screw that. I'm going to start listening to Bruce's music again. And again, the streaming of albums that probably aren't even listed, or albums that's lower, might actually go up. Like, it might actually hurt some of these artists. Like Frank Ocean's Blonde, streaming wise, might actually be hurt because his friends are like, Gaye, that's great. But other fans are like, no, that doesn't make any sense. And they'll start listening to albums. They might start listening to Mariah Carey albums, or Whitney Houston albums, or TLC albums, or No Doubt albums who didn't make the list. Or Ariana Grande, because Ariana Grande didn't make the list. Now, did she deserve to be in the top 100 albums of all time? Probably not. But if you're trying to appeal to young folks, then they'll say, I can understand her being at 99 or something like that. But the list overall isn't bad. It's just flawed. Like, you got Bob Dylan, number 14. Okay, that makes sense. I'm not a huge Bob Dylan fan, but I understand his influence. I get that. Joni Mitchell's number 16. Like, there's no Janet Jackson. Like, I don't even know, because I have to search. Janet Jackson's not even in the top 20. I'm hopeful that Janet's in the top 100, because, like I said, I haven't gone through the whole top 100, so I'm sure she's made how many great albums? Control, Rhythm Nation, the Jan album, Velvet Rope. Like, one of those albums should be there. Stevie Wonder should actually almost have 3. For Franklin's not in the top 20. So the list is subjective. I totally understand it, but man, like, next time, hey, Apple Music, the next time you have this list, talk to me. Bring me in the room so I can argue with people. I like arguing. So what will be in your top 10 albums of all time? Now, again, everybody's list is subjective. I'm sure if I give you my top 10 list, you're like, man, you're crazy. Yeah, even like De La Soul, 3 Feet High Rising. If they had De La Soul, 3 Feet High Rising at number 7, I think most people would say, that makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, so give me your top 10 albums of all time. If you want to do top 20, that's fine. Apple Music, I admire what you tried to do. You gave it a good shot. It's not a horrible list, but you could have done better.